Hi everybody, Matt and Tom back with you. Can you see Tom is in the shadows? Today we're in Halifax, we're on Lister Lane, and we've come to look at Lister Lane Cemetery. We're very lucky that the Friends of Lister Lane Cemetery have opened the gate for us to look around today. It's not always open to the public, so thank you to them for allowing us access. This graveyard opened around 1840 and closed in 1960. It was a graveyard for anybody to be buried in, whether you were religious or not. So what it is, it's kind of a snapshot of the people of Halifax over that time of who was here. So we're going to have a walk around, show you what's here, and show you maybe half a dozen specific gravestones of people you might be interested in knowing a bit more about. But yeah, let's have a wander and see what's here.
So 1841 was the official opening of the cemetery, and by then it was only known as the Halifax General Cemetery. The grounds were designed not just as a burial ground, but as a place to walk, contemplate and relax.
So obviously one of the big features of this graveyard is the ruins of the mortuary chapel. Now this is built in a kind of Greek style, as you can see, and is now closed off. The roof has collapsed and it's not a very safe structure, but we'll have a look at what's through the iron bars at least. So apparently this chapel was also built with a number of underground crypts, and they were never used. So it is interesting to think that maybe they will be still there, even if they're inaccessible. Yeah, it looks like it's just full of beehives now, and there doesn't look to be any kind of access down. But yeah, there we go. Let's keep looking, see what else is here. Oh wow, look at this. So this is Sad and Horrible Deaths. That's amazing. Death in an exploding mill. The murderous newspaper apprentice. Oh my goodness, we could have a full day here. That's amazing. Right, well, we might have to find some of these. Falling plank kills schoolboy. Wow. Well, we did not got one for covering the murder. That's amazing. These information boards are gold, basically. These are really well made. Yeah. Whoa, this looks very slippy. So who is here?
We have the famous musician Abel Dean.
Oh, wonderful.
Abel Dean was born in 1785. At the age of 9, he was playing music at the North Gate End Chapel. By 11-year-old, he was the organist for the Square Chapel. Always a keen musician, he was a conductor, a violinist and an organist, and sang with the Halifax Choral Society as a bass singer. To reach the cemetery today, we walked across somewhere we filmed a couple of weeks ago. We walked across People's Park and then walked past the almshouses. Both of these are linked to the Crossleys, whose grave is up next. So this one is the Crossley Vault. So as you know, we just walked across People's Park, the almshouses, but the Crossleys set up John Crossley and Son Limited, which was at Dean Clough in Halifax. And they were the biggest carpet manufacturing company in the world at that time. And this is their kind of family vault. So, next grave to show you is this one, is of Benjamin Rushon, the late, old and tried patriot, died 1853, and he was a leading chartist. Benjamin Rushon, born in 1785, was a hero of the working classes. Chartism was the first working class movement in Britain, and Benjamin was never afraid to speak out for their rights, often seeing him arrested and imprisoned. There is a book available on Benjamin, and possibly down the line we could return for him for a full-length video. But for now, this is his grave. Next to Benjamin, there's another one here, Christopher Shackleton, Secretary of the West Riding Chartists, a very able writer and debater. So when we were at the chapel, we saw that there was a sign for some rather tragic and gruesome deaths. This is a gravestone for one of them. So this is the grave of Joe Bentley, aged 4, who was a son of Job and Emma, and who, returning from school on the 24th of May 1860, was instantly killed by a fall of planks carelessly piled in Delft Street. It is interesting that there's so much information just there, which obviously helps for future historians, but yeah, it's not just remembering the person, is it? It's remembering the incident there. Here's another one. It shows Joseph Wordsworth, plumber of York. His death was caused by a fall from the Triumphal Arch while engaged in its erection on Crown Street, Halifax, on the occasion of the marriage of the Prince of Wales. Wow. Triumphal Arch. Crown Street, I can't think what that is. Worth checking out. This one is the grave of
James Edward Jacobs, and this sadly is a victim of a murder.
James Edward Jacobs was a printer's apprentice at the Halifax Guardian, which I presume was like the Halifax Courier today. He was attacked by a William Dawson on the 5th of May, who hit him with some dumbbells that were kept in the building and then finished him off with a hatchet. Dawson was put on trial for murder and was kept in an asylum for the rest of his life.
So this section here, obviously the bits up the steps are the vault, and just found them. That's a sealed up section there, but these must be the entrances to the vaults. Now, if you look in there, you can see steps going down. I don't know if I'll be able to see anything if I just stick the camera under there. There we go. Okay, possibly not. It's just full of tools. And now I feel like one. Right, this grave here is Alfred Way, house surgeon of this town. Departed this life 1853, aged 42.
Alfred sadly committed suicide after believing that nearly a decade and a half earlier he'd killed a patient of his, and that had tormented him until the end of his life.
So next we have this one. And we're going further down, looking at William Nicol, killed in the Battle of Maiwand, Afghanistan, 27th of July 1880. So like I said earlier, there's loads of notice boards across the graveyard telling you who's in here. That's the one for the Crossleys, whose vault we've already looked at. What we're going to look for now are two gravestones, hopefully, of people who fought at the Battle of Waterloo. Hopefully we can find them. Fingers crossed. Right, spotted one of them. Now, this is the grave of Daniel Milton, who served 21 years in the army and fought at Waterloo in 1815. Apparently discharged himself from the army due to being old and worn out, and then likely worked at Dean Clough for the Crossleys. He died in 1856, aged 80, and was originally buried in an unmarked grave, but a family member recognised and found where he was, and this gravestone's been here since about 2015. Yeah, not many Waterloo graves around, are there? So the other Waterloo grave, I think, could possibly be one of these at the bottom. And unfortunately, not only is it autumn, or nearly winter really, we're in December, and because it is so frosty, the leaves are actually stuck onto the graves. So, yeah, I don't know if we're going to find the second one, unfortunately. However, this is a picture of it, and this is his story.
So the middle name on this gravestone is Robert Nutter, who was born in 1792. He joined the Royal House Guards at 19 years old, but by 21 he was serving with Sir Robert Chamberhill's troops at Waterloo. He was discharged from the army in 1817 after being wounded and continued to live as a weaver.
It's been wonderful to walk around this graveyard today. We've been here nearly a couple of hours now, just walking around looking. Yeah, it's a real honour to be granted access today to come and look around. And the reason it's closed off generally is, got to save it from vandalism. And unfortunately, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, longer, this place was just left. 1963 was the last burial here, and then it just became a forgotten place. Talking to the people who've let us in today, they said that when they arrived, or they say when the group arrived, none of this was accessible. It was a complete wasteland. There were burnt out cars here, and so they've spent the last 20 years working, the Friends group, on behalf of, I presume, the council, and got it to this condition. And what a credit to them. And they've recently been given a King's Award, I think, and it's something like the equivalent of a voluntary group's MBE, and it is well deserved. As you know, if you watch my channel, I've been doing tiny bits helping for Christchurch in Todmorden, and that's kind of spurned that interest to come and look at these other graves. And obviously they've been going just over a year, and there's been a tremendous difference there. 20 years and it can achieve this is just, yeah, amazing. Just amazing. It's been great. Walk around, you just find more interesting ones as you go. Look at this one. Copley, eldest son of Joseph and Ellen Sun, died at Ningpo in China. 22 years old. That's a story in its own right, but yeah, don't know anything about that one. One worth pointing out here as well, I think. Jonas Taylor, Springfield founder and for 50 years secretary of the Halifax Permanent Benefit Building Society. Right, we're suddenly back at the Ningpo, but at the front of it, it says Joseph Sugden. So who is that?
Joseph Sugden is a cartoonist friend of Branwell Bronte, and he also became quite a prolific writer of political stuff.
Wow. Okay.
And then
so the one who died in Ningpo is their son.
Is their son.
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
And then over here we have a little covered by bushes. This is James Uriah Walker, who was the first one to publish the Brontes' works.
What, any Brontes?
Any Brontes.
Oh
works.
wow, okay.
And rather modest grave.
Yeah, interesting bit at the top, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Very good. This little Studley Pike looking obelisk is to the memory of Lieutenant Colonel Godfrey Fips Baker, the East India Company's service. Died at 63 years old. Okay, so obviously we haven't covered every person here. We've just covered a little snapshot of some of the people buried here and some of the stories. And yeah, what an amazing graveyard, and a great piece of history. And yeah, it's been just fabulous walking around it. It's been like just a graveyard to ourselves today. So thank you so much to the friends of Lister Lane Cemetery coming and opening the gate for us today, to allow us to have a look around. And yeah, what a perfect day for it as well. Yeah, go on their website as well. I'll put the link on, and whilst you're finding things to do, you could always perhaps like and share and subscribe to the channel here as well, and send me some comments. What do you think of the graveyard? Have you visited here before? Yeah, or maybe you're part of the Friends team.
Might want to join.
And you might want to join. Look at the website for that info. Take care. We'll see you very soon.